Okay, this is the conclusion to my video called Social Experiment. And because of it, in honor of it, I thought I'd recreate the setting, you know, the place, Timmy's room, and my clothes. And well, anyway, so the question was, if there was a formula to having consistent joy, if there was a something you could buy that you had consistent joy for the very rest of your life, would you want it? And surprisingly, I thought everybody was going to choose yes, right? Because you think you want joy all the time, but surprisingly, there was some very mature answers, and I'm going to read one of them. I have permission. Okay, this is from Atrolin Bemo, Atrollinbemo. And they put, no, because being joyful might not have the same experience as being sad and growing personally and fighting to be a better person. That is an excellent answer. And it would be the correct answer, the very correct answer, if the definition of joy was happiness. But there is a difference between happiness and joy, and that's what I'm going to explain. Because happiness comes with situations, with circumstances. You know, you're so happy, everything's going fantastic, right? But you can have joy, and it's been my experience throughout for the last I'm 59, and for the last 37 years, it's been my experience that it is possible to have joy in the depths of your being in the worst of circumstances. And so how is that accomplished? Well, as in my video about superhero, it's the truth. The answer is a relationship with God. Because, okay, I'm going to tell you how it happens for me. And all right, for example, I use my imagination big time. That's how I pray. That's how I hear God, is through my imagination. My legs. Okay. Through my imagination. Because what I do have a vivid imagination, and I'm very extremely visual. So let's say I feel upset about something. What do? What I do is I take the scripture, you are my hiding place. You are my hiding place. And just with that, I go into, I still myself, and I go into thinking and imagining me being inside the biggest fortress, or just a comfy blanket of just goodness and love, or whatever, I just use my imagination to bring myself into that place of just, I'm okay. I'm protected, I'm safe. And because it's the truth. If you can imagine the God who made everything, if he made everything, and if he loves you and just wants to, and that's his heart. It's been my experience that his heart is he just wants to pour out blessings. And that is, sometimes there are not good circumstances, but if you go to him, if you just, when I will go, the worst of circumstances, if you look at I think it was my second video, and I think it's called Modern Day Miracle. We had zero food, absolutely zero food, and we had zero money. And I had woken up, and all I had was some flour, and my kids were all little. My kids were 8, 6, 4, and 2 at that time. Okay, and so we had just moved to New Mexico. We didn't know anybody, hardly, and it was just what you would think of the worst of circumstances. But so I woke up make breakfast for the family. I go into the little kitchenette and I look, and all I have, and this is the absolute truth, this is in 1997, all I had was some flour, a little bit of oil, and a little bit of tomato powder for soup. And so I already told this before, but so you don't have to go all the way back there, I'm just gonna briefly tell it again because it's just the most amazing thing that ever happened to me. Okay, so I just felt this joy rise up in me in the midst of these circumstances. I didn't even have to go to my little secret place. It just happened. And so this joy rose up within me, and I just knew, it's like I knew that if I made something with that God was going to provide for breakfast, then God was going to provide lunch. So I made the worst tasting pancakes you can ever imagine. And I fed Jose and the 4 little kids, and we had some left over. And there was little dogs that used to hang out outside of our little efficiency. And 2 little dogs, medium sized. And so I thought, let me give the leftovers to them. And so when I went to open the door, on the dirt, because we didn't have grass, it was in New Mexico and we were dirt poor, on the dirt in front of my eyes there was a bunch of unopened cans of food, and they had dog saliva all over them. There was a big can of peanut butter. There was it was government food, I could tell, you know, it had the white wrappers, a big can of peanut butter, there was beans, evaporated milk, and peaches, and so a bunch of them. And so I didn't want to steal, we didn't want to steal, so we asked our neighbors on either side of us. They said, it's not ours, go ahead and eat it. And so we ate it, and we had food for a while. It took care of us for a while. So 2 years later, I was telling this story on the local Christian television station. And the neighbor who lived there was 2 empty lots in between our house and her house. The neighbor who lived there, she saw me on TV, and immediately she was reminded, she knew exactly what had happened. She had back 2 years before, she had had too much food for her cupboards, so she had neatly stacked the food outside of her little home. And the miracle was, I guess God sent those dogs, and one by one they went back and forth, and they were just medium-sized little dogs. I don't even know how they got their little mouths around it. They went back and forth, and brought us all that food. So there was joy in the worst of circumstances. So there my point is. Okay, love you guys, bye.